Although in this video we're going to have a basic look at what we call tritone substitutions. This is where you change the functionality of what's called a 5 chord, quite often in jazz. Not exclusively, but it is a popular thing to use. Here it is. So let's have a look at tritone substitutions, and then I'm going to finish with a Bartók pseudo-cadence that is really interesting to explore. You might find it's a fascinating way to go to another key centre. So without further ado, let's have a look at that. So here we go. Here's a 2-5-1 into C major. So what's a 2-5-1? Well, we can stack chords on the key of C major like this. 7 chords, and chord 1 will be this, chord 2 will be this, and if we work all the way up, chord 5 will be a G7 chord. So what a 2-5-1 is, in a very simple way, would be a 2-5-1. We're going to voice that beautifully with the root, the 7/3 of a D minor 7. So just have a look. That's a D minor 7, but I'm just voicing it with the true essence of the chord, the truly very important notes. Then I'm going to the 5. This is a G7 chord. That's the 3rd of a G. And that one there is a 7th. And then we're going into the 1. So 2-5-1. So tritone substitutions often, but not always, but do happen on the 5 chord. So have a look at this. This is a G7 chord. Now, for a tritone is 1, 2, 3 tones. So that means instead of playing a G7, 2, 5, there's a G7, there's a G7 chord. Instead of playing the G7 chord, we're going to find what the G7's tritone flat 5 is. So the tritone of the G7 is a D flat. So what does that mean? Well, instead of playing 2, 5 there, this chord, we'll keep everything, we'll go to the 1. So the only chord we're going to change is this second one. This one here, this G7, 1. We're going to change the functionality of the 5 chord. Because, okay, here's a G7. That is the 3rd of G7. And that is the 7th of G7. Now let's swap them round. We'll find that that is the 7th of D flat. And that is the 3rd, look. So we've got this tritone sub. So instead of going G7, so here's the D minor 7 first, here's the G7, and here's the C major 7. We're going to substitute this chord here for a D flat chord, and it's very straightforward with the voicings I've got. All you need to do is drop your bass. And there's your tritone sub. Let's just do it in its very basic telluric fashion. 2, there's the 5, which we'll do instead like this. 5, 1. Listen to the sound, it's a great sound. But I'm just voicing it a little bit more richly. 2, normal 5, 1. So what we're doing, don't forget, we're just changing the functionality of these notes. This is the 3rd of a G chord, but the 7th of a D flat. This is the 7th of a G chord, but the 3rd of a D flat. So these notes are not changing at all. Then we go like this. And one more thing to look at, which is really interesting, is this Bartók pseudo-cadence. So what Bartók does is look at these intervals. Okay, let's have a look. So we've got a G7 here. This interval, again, this is a deeply philosophical topic, so we'll just take this from an analytical perspective, really, rather than going why. It would be another video, but let's just go with playing within the paradigm that our ears do enjoy the sound of that rising up and that one falling. Have a listen carefully, see what you think. That one could come up like that to a basic C triad. So we've got this idea that this one wants to go and that one wants to fall to a C chord. So what Bartók would do is very clever. He would change the functionality of this. So the G7, with this one wanting to rise and this one wanted to fall, he would invert that. What do we find? So, what's this the 4th note of? Well, it's the 4th note of a G flat chord. So that's going to fall into that. And that's the major 7th of a G flat major 7 chord. So those notes are going to rise like that. Just have a listen to that. So we're going to get, and here we go. And then that's going to go there like that. So this is the Bartók often referred to in a lot of academic books as the pseudo-cadence. So here, instead of the 1 being there, look, like that, it's going to go, here we go, and then we might go to the major 7. Could voice it slightly different. Let's just make it a normal F sharp chord or G flat chord. Bearing that in mind, you could then think about what other chords have got these notes in. You could kind of use some kind of E major 7 chord, maybe with either a sharp 11 and a 6 and a 9. Look. So you could do things like, which is interesting, look. Interesting cadence. But anyway, the basic cadence is this, there, falling into F sharp. You could also do, just think about it a second, you could do some kind of, because you're going to that and that, you could do some kind of A flat 7 chord there, maybe, you know. These are interesting. But anyway, the one that Bartók would do would be this one into F sharp. I've done a few videos, one called the Axis System, which explores Bartók's techniques. So there you go, I hope that's been useful. The Bartók's a little bit more advanced maybe, but that's a basic introduction to the Bartók pseudo-cadence and also the tritone. So please subscribe and ring the bell to help my channel grow. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.